Hey y'all, it's me, Queen J, back with another episode of Let's Get Uncomfortable. But this time we're doing a little different. We are at day 2 of the podcast summit. And as y'all know, before we even get into today's topic, I'm going to do this now because it's going to be sensitive. But we always start with a bit of mindfulness. So that's not changing. So, as always, it is now time for us to pause, breathe, and relax. It's now time for us to open our minds, our hearts, our spirits to letting us understand new ways to navigate around healing within this lifetime. Not only within this lifetime, but for our future selves and our past selves. It's now time that we unlearn the curses or rigidity that we previously knew and allow ourselves to be welcome and receiving and open to learning new and positive flow so that we can navigate around healing. All right, y'all. I hope that brought y'all a piece of mindfulness. That brought y'all some tranquility. I'm excited for this one. I know it's sensitive, like I said, but listen, I'm excited because the kid in me has always wanted to talk about this, as well as the adult in me. So without further ado, I'm going to allow my lovely guest to introduce herself and we can get into it.
Yes. Hello, my name is Latoya Nichole. I am the brand owner of I Think I Love My Kids. I am a conscious parenting coach, and I help parents put down the belt and stop yelling at their kids through conscious parenting methods.
Man, let's just sit on that for a second. That's a whole word in and of itself. And that's exactly what I said to her when we met. And I was like, I need you. Yeah, yeah, come on. Come on with the come on. We need to have you here. And I'm so happy that you're here because I got some questions. Starting with, what was it like when you did you ever have to go through a process of making that change? Or how did this come about? How did this come
So,
about?
actually, I believe this is what sets me apart from the rest of the parents in my
Mm,
industry, is that I didn't always be a conscious parent.
mm,
I did used to whip my kids, spank them,
mm-hmm.
and that's why I'm able to help and guide you, because I understand what it is. That transition is not easy, but I am here to guide those who need it.
Of course. And see, there's a beauty that exists in that sentence, right? That you just
Hmm.
said. I made the change, and you can too.
Yep.
And I know a lot of parents. Listen, as a kid who went through a dysfunctional family, who suffered from abuse and all those different things. We already talked about that, right? I want to know, I guess, what sparked it when you were whipping your kids and when you were in that mindset. What was that like?
So,
Because as a kid, I'm just thinking, hey, mama mad at me. Hey, daddy mad at you know what I mean?
right.
So
What
what
did
was
I
that?
do
Yeah,
wrong?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, a lot of times, and it's crazy because this is what the message that you give to your kids when you spank them. It's,
Yes.
what am I doing wrong? My parents don't love me. They never look at the parent as the bad person. But guess
Yeah.
what? I, as a parent, was feeling guilty because I was spanking my kids. Like,
Word.
they're crying, they're upset. Then it's like they're look. Some people are gonna be like, oh, but I felt like my kids was not gonna love me
Mm,
personally. I'm a very self-aware person,
mm,
and I've also come to realize too is that a lot of parents beat their kids out of frustration.
mm,
There's a lot of parents out here that are not thriving, they're surviving,
mm.
and their children are an inconvenience, but they don't even realize it. They don't realize it, that these kids did not ask to be here.
That's a word right there.
And because I came to that realization, it made it easier. I knew I didn't want to be like my mother, running
Mm-hmm.
around the house with the belt, fussing, screaming, cussing, blood
Mm-hmm.
pressure going up, hair falling out because you stressed out. And the one thing that you can control, or you think you can control, is your household.
Woo! That's a word. And that I'm gonna let you keep going because I got a question, but go ahead, keep going. Keep going. You have the floor.
So, yeah, so in order to regain that control, everybody has to be on the same page. But you're
Mm.
not going to get that control, you're not going to get that respect, you're not going to get that discipline by wheeling around a belt like a mad person.
Mm.
There are other areas in life where people have to train children or train other human beings, and they don't do it with putting their hands on them.
Mm.
They don't do it with putting their hands on them. Ask yourself, if the teacher beat your child, which I
Woo-hoo.
knew that used to be back in the day, it was
Mhm.
allowed. But now we think about it, oh, I wish a teacher would.
Mhm.
But if you ready to go 10 toes down, fist up in the air for somebody else for beating on your kids, why are you doing it to your kids?
Talk about it. Let's get uncomfortable now. Come on now.
I'm just saying.
Mhm. No, you are absolutely right, and that was the question that you nailed it on the you hit it on the whatever
Yes.
you did that. But so when you made that switch, was that difficult for you?
It's
Was that
difficult. It's
yeah?
still difficult to this day. I don't beat my kids.
Mhm.
But I will say I do fuss sometimes because I get frustrated. I'm a human being.
Yeah, yeah. First and foremost, we
So,
are human. We gonna
so
have that. Yeah.
and it's a journey. Being a conscious parent is a journey. I'm here to walk with you on a journey together. Like, I really am. It is because kids change, they evolve.
Mhm.
The things that they learn, the things that you learn, it
Mhm.
changes, it evolves. But one thing that I will give to you guys, know who you are,
Oof.
then learn who your children are.
Mm.
Then you can effectively parent better because you know each of you and you'll be able to guide the situation. Matter of fact, I wrote a book. Look,
Matter of
called,
fact,
called Putting Down the Belt. And in the book, I actually have a worksheet that guides you through the problem because 9 times out of 10, parents are thinking that their child is the problem and the child is not the problem. The problem is the problem. So I'm getting you to break your biases
ooh,
and to relearn what you thought you knew so that you can parent effectively and better. Your child not going to respect you if
yep.
every time you turn around, they can't ask you a question, they can't talk to you
Mhm.
because they're waiting on you to fuss at them
Yeah.
or to go get the belt or tell
Yeah.
them that they're wrong. That's not love.
That's control. And just to expand on that, as a child who experienced this, I now have come to the realization that while my childhood was not sunshine and rainbows, right?
Mhm.
My mother was doing what she knew. And that's why, hey, I'm a very self aware, and I was very, very self aware as a child. Like,
Yeah.
you imagine me at 8 years old, maybe even younger, talking about why,
Why?
why?
But that's normal
Yeah,
for children. If
it
oh,
is. It is, but in my family, it was
they don't
not
understand
welcome.
because of slavery.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. You know exactly where I'm going with
Yes.
that. Okay. So I felt like, and this is why this is such a great conversation because at that time, full transparency, I was abused from the time that I was 3 until the time that I was 16. But that was sexually. And all while that was happening, I was also being mentally,
Mentally.
verbally,
Of
and
course,
physically.
because you were in a situation that you didn't need to be. And the only people that you can blame for being in that situation are your caregivers.
Exactly. And it's sad because, like I said, my mother raised me the best way that she knew how. But we
Right.
eventually we did have a conversation as I got older. But it was like the accountability piece was just missing. It's like I only did this because that's how my mom raised me. But
Mm.
that's like that doesn't make it okay.
Right.
And what you guys And to any of the parents that's going to be listening, to any of the warriors that's going to be listening, I want y'all to understand from a child's perspective, it does invalidate them at a very early age. And I say that from experience. But not only does it do that, but it reinforces this mindset of everything I do is bad. I can't connect with my mother. I can't connect with my family because every time they say, but here's the thing. I want y'all to catch this. I want y'all to catch this. How y'all saying, oh, you can come to me about anything. It's a safe space, baby. You can tell me anything. Tell me if you got that F in school. Tell me if that boy doing this. Tell me if that girl doing this, right? You can tell me anything. Yet I haven't fostered that safe space for you for real. So how you gonna do that? Oh, you gonna start sneaking out? Oh, so now I'm gonna really get the belt. Oh, you gonna start doing this? Not saying that I ever snuck out, but as a teen, you can't even express yourself because it's like, how is mom gonna feel? I'm walking around in eggshells in my own damn household, and I can't do nothing. And that's real. And that's why we need to be more conscious when it comes to parenting. Because I know for a fact, when I have my little girl, when I have my little son, baby, y'all gonna be, I'ma just love on y'all. But I'm also gonna discipline you the way that I want it to be disciplined.
Right.
Have a conversation with me, because at the end of the day, I need y'all to understand this. Children are many adults.
Yep.
Children are many human beings. And I think that was the one piece. It's huge. But I think that was the one piece that was missing within my childhood. It was like, no, you can't possibly be going through these things. Like, even my father, at one point in time, like, we've had a conversation about this too, but at one point in time, kid you not, my dad pulled me and my sister and was like, y'all all in trouble, without even asking us what had actually happened to us.
You probably didn't even know what was going on.
I had no clue what was going on. Years later, we had a conversation. I said, Dad, this is what happened. A and B went down, and he was like, it took him a second.
They got memory loss.
Yeah, but it took him a second. But eventually, at first, he was like, did I do that? Did I do that? Did I do that as your father? And I'm like, look, if my sister said it happened, it happened. And if I'm saying it happened, it happened. And I was like, I'm not here to absolve you of anything that you are feeling. You need to sit in that.
Yep.
Get uncomfortable with that, because if that's something about you that you didn't like and that you didn't want to do, then why did you allow yourself to do it in the first place? Why didn't you think twice about the children that you were hurting when you did it? Oh, I was just punishing everybody. Yeah, you were. But guess what you were also doing? Telling 3-year-old me, you did the wrong thing, not that person.
Right.
You know? So it was beautiful when my father was like, he basically said, I'm sorry that I didn't treat you like a person. I'm sorry that I took that experience away from you.
I bet that was so healing.
Bruh, me and my sister I was bawling. We was like, after he left, of course, we was like, okay, all right, get the ice cream. Get the movie playing. Because ain't no way he just said that.
He just did that.
He did. But it took him a second. It took him a couple of hours. He was fussing. He was calling people. He was like, did y'all do this to my baby girls? You know? But when he was able to finally take himself out of it, that's when he was able to say, oh, wow.
I had a hand in this.
And that's what most parents, they have a hand in it, but they don't realize when it's time to take the hand away. And they also don't realize when it's time for that hand to be nurturing.
Right.
I have a poem that I have called The Girl Behind the Glass. And it's basically me. And in it, there's a stanza where I say, hands that were made to be nurturing, but that wasn't what I felt. Yeah. And it was slaps to the face for taking a stand against judgment and stuff like that, right? But when I said that, I meant it, because that's exactly what it felt like. And I feel I commend you on this journey of being a conscious parent and teaching other parents how to be conscious parents, because I feel like I've dealt with little kids. I've worked with kids before. Yeah, that's hard. And you know what? Ironically, when I was working with kids, I was calling my mom. I was like, Mom, I can't do it. Yeah. I was yelling at these kids. These kids is not mine. But my mom was like, Janae, find another way to communicate with them. You're yelling at them. I'm like,
how did that make you feel?
It made me mad at myself. I was like, I'm not even their parent. So imagine going home and you not even listening to me. I get it.
I meant, what did it make you
What
feel when your mom said that to you?
Oh! I thought you was talking about me yelling.
No.
Oh.
What your mom? How did
I
you feel
rolled
when
my
your mom
eyes.
said that?
I rolled my eyes
Okay.
because
Who is this woman?
Yes, I genuinely rolled my eyes because that's what I experienced a lot, and I had to I was working on this with my therapist at one point, but I had to come to terms with there are going to be moments where she can't always show up because she doesn't know how.
Yep.
And that is where I need to give her mercy, show her a little bit of grace, because if I don't have the tools, if I wasn't shown how am I going to execute it for myself?
Do you also know that sometimes giving her mercy and grace may also mean giving her space?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Oh, we do that a lot. I mean,
because look, I felt that same way about my mom, but guess what? Guess who's my biggest supporter?
Your mama?
My mother.
My
because she
mama
was
too.
saying, well, you can't keep yelling at them kids. You can't keep yelling at them kids. And I'm like, well, Mom, that's what you did, and that's all I know.
And I did
so I
tell
had
her.
to find out something different.
I remember telling her that on the phone. I was at work. I was like, Mom, she was just on the phone checking on me, and I was like, you need to get. I was yelling at these kids because we had like that day we had like swapped groups, so I wasn't with my regular group. I was with the young ones, and them young ones was testing my patience.
But that's what they do.
I know, And at one point, I will never forget the day when I was sitting there and I was being stern. Mm-hmm. And I was, I smile when I talk. Obviously, that's just me. Yes. That's my personality. Go ahead and get with it. Anyway, when that was happening, this little boy was like, Miss Janae, why is it that you smile when you're upset with us? I'm like, you want me to be upset? You want me to be mad, or you want me to have a smile on my face? Which one? He was like, no, you can go back to smiling. I said, yeah. What? Why would you ask that?
Right.
Why would you ask that? But that's what a kid is going to do. They're going to ask those questions. But it was funny when my mom had said that. She was like, you just find a better way to talk to me. I said, that's what you did. And I said it with all the sass, all the shade. And she was like, I know, but find a better way. I'm like, what's the better way? Because I'm still trying to figure it out. These ain't even my kids, and you telling me to find a better way. So what that mean for me? And that was what that was what I witnessed throughout my childhood. I would witness my mom take care of my cousins, and I'd be like, yo, she is so loving towards them.
To everybody else.
What happened to me? Oh, I must be the problem. And that led to suicidal thoughts, that led to depression, that led to a lot of really tough things that I had to kind of take a step back at some point and be like, all right, look. While it is not all on me, it is my duty to do the healing. I can't keep going back to my mom. I can't keep going back to my father and saying, oh, y'all made me this way. No. They played a part in it. But guess what? There's tools and resources that they ain't have that we got now.
Yep. And so once you turn a certain age, you're responsible for it.
Exactly.
So what we're not going to do is pass on the trauma. Exactly. And I commend you for that.
Thank you.
Because it does take a lot of healing. And I have done my own healing to get to the point that I am. I'm not afraid to tell you, I'm in therapy. I go every week. I go see my therapist every week. That's another one of my biggest supporters. Mm-hmm. She wanted to see me do and succeed as much as I want to succeed. And she's great to have in my corner. On top of that, my kids go to therapy as well.
Oh, really?
My kids go to therapy. My daughters have a black woman as their therapist, and my son has a black gentleman as his therapist. I intentionally selected these people to be in my children's lives because at the end of the day, even though I'm saying I'm creating a safe space, like you heard me say before, I'm not a perfect parent. No. So guess what? I'm giving my children the opportunity to go to another safe space so that they can vent about me.
Can I ask you something about that? What was that like? What was that like finding the therapist? And because listen, one thing about me, one thing about my family, and one thing about black families.
Yes,
I don't want to be generalized, but a lot of people be like, I ain't going to no therapist. My grandmother's still saying she ain't going to no therapist. You know what? We got a lot of things that we need to deal with in this family, but she is like dead set against going. So what was that like for you to say, you know what? Basically, because one thing, I want y'all to catch this. Warriors, I really want y'all to catch this. Parents, I want y'all to catch this. One thing about going to therapy that you're going to have to realize is you are giving up control of the situation. You're saying, look, can't do it myself. I need help.
Yep.
I need guidance, right? That is the one thing that a black household has been so against, because what is it that one thing that we
One
always
thing.
gotta have? Let's keep it together.
Control.
Let's keep that control together. This is a perfect household. We all smiling, happy, singing,
Everybody got a
all
total
that, right?
line for all my military folks out there.
So what was that like when you finally was like, all right, look, I'm going, and here they go.
So I've actually attended therapy multiple times before I had kids. Just being in the military, being a woman, a black woman in the military, that was somebody I could go to and basically cry my heart out and be like, oh, these people. And the more I got comfortable with that, because it's basically like somebody that you can go and dump all your problems onto, and you ain't got to worry about Tasha up the street hearing your business. I'm just saying.
Facts. No, you right.
So, like, you can tell somebody your
It's a safe
business,
space. When it's a safe
and it
space,
stay in that room, and you know facts that it's gonna stay in that room. You
break.
you ready to tell them everything, everything.
As a
As
matter
long
of
as you're not
fact.
trying to hurt yourself, you're not trying to hurt nobody else, and you are not harming children. Your stuff is staying in that room. It's staying in that room. Same thing with them kids. They go to the therapist. They tell them everything. As long as you ain't actively abusing your kids, and if you follow me, you're definitely not beating your kids, so there should be no issues, right? So let them have somebody that they can complain to you about, because a lot of times our kids don't listen to us. Once they reach a certain age, I want to say middle school,
That wall go up.
their friends become to have influence over them because that's who they're around most of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And they become aware of it. And then they realize mom and dad don't know everything.
That's a hard lesson.
So you have
learn.
to put, it's up to you as the parent, the responsible person, to start to build your village up to be a safe space for your kids.
Ooh. Talk about it.
Look, I could go deep dive into that because,
but I get you. Hey, I'm on the same page with you, because it really does take a village, but it takes the right village. You need to vet them people, make sure that you absolutely genuinely trust your child with them. And I will say this, you need to trust your kid.
Yes, that
Whatever
is very
your
important.
kid comes to you with,
Please
if you
trust
do
them.
foster a safe space for them, right? And we talk about this all the time, but if you foster a safe space for them, that means nothing can be off limits. Even if it's uncomfortable for you, listen, that's why you get yourself a therapist, and you be like, did you know that my child said this? I mean, I appreciate that she's comfortable with talking to me, but I need to do some thinking myself. You know what I mean? But for real, like, that's why it's important that safe space for your child during that development stage is vital.
And I will add this.
Yeah, go ahead.
For anybody that is hesitant about having a therapist or looking for a therapist, I want you to understand that when you go looking for a therapist, I want you to look for somebody that looks like you.
Woo!
First of all. Second of all, they work for you. You're paying them to do a job for you. You don't have to say shit the first session. Make them prove to you that they're the person that you can tell your secrets to. Make sure they're the person that you can unload on and they can handle it. A good therapist is going to give you the tools and the steps to help you overcome any problem that you have and work with you through it. But guess what? The only way for them to help you is if they build up that trust with you.
Yeah. You know, one thing I learned about therapists, you don't have to go with the first one.
That too.
I learned that as I was going through my journey. You do not have to go with the first one. Now, me personally, because I was in a state of crisis when I found therapy, or should I say therapy found me, because by way of my stepmother was not playing. When I tell you, she stepped in.
Yeah.
I was at a very low point, and as hard as this is to say, this is why I said it's a very sensitive topic. I'm gonna say trigger warning right here. I have become comfortable with the idea of pressing pause. And pressing pause is not just pressing pause on the TV. If y'all picking up what I'm putting down, I saw it as this is my only way out, and maybe I could just press pause on the situation. Maybe I can get some type of reprieve of everything that's going on. If I harm myself in this way, if I end it, I can come back and I can fix everything and everything will be fine. I don't know why, I don't know where I got that from, but that was how I saw it. It wasn't until I got into college that I was like, yes, okay, we can. I was ready to do that. I was at that low point, right? And my stepmom and I were having a conversation, and I was like, I just don't know what to do anymore, and I blew up. Secrets be damned. Everything came out. Everything came out in that kitchen. And she was looking at me and she was like, no. If you get into a point where, she was saying that's when you need to seek help. And I was like, no, but do you understand? And I didn't understand that her background as a social worker, she already knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So she was like, no, you're not hearing me.
She's like, I'm not equipped to handle this for you. I'm going to send you over here.
No. Actually, the opposite.
The opposite? Oh.
She said, no, I hear what you're putting down. And if it gets to that point, you need to seek help. I know that. She said, matter of fact, pull up your phone right now. I said, wait, why I feel like I'm in trouble? She was like, cause you are. You think I'm about to, you just told me this. You think I'm about to just
let it happen?
I said, oh, okay. I'm in trouble for the right reasons, though.
But she did her job.
She
because
did her job.
Do you have a plan?
Exactly.
Yes.
So it was.
I'm trained.
It was right. It was good. It was really. But in that moment, it took the normalcy out. You feel me? You see what I'm saying? Like I was so like,
you saw in a different light.
This is what I'm gonna do, and I'm just. It wasn't like I was happy about it or anything. It was just like, okay, yeah, that's the option. Sat me down so fast on my ass, said, you are going back to college, and I know there's a therapist on that damn campus that's gonna help you. I don't care what you do. You calling me too when you go. I said, I don't know if I can find a therapist. I don't feel comfortable. She said, oh, you finding one. As soon as I got back to campus, I said, Mom, you right. I need a therapist. I know you do. Now, who'd you find? Because I know you found somebody. And that's literally how the conversation went. And when I got in there, it was because I was in such a crisis mode. I let everything out. Because at that point, I had bottled everything up, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be that where you're just like, you know what? I'm finding somebody. This is my last resort. That's totally fine. Yeah. No judgment on you if that's where you are, because I've been there. But I want you to know that you don't have to go with the first one. You don't have to be like standoffish or anything, because a therapist is going to work with you on your schedule, on your dime, as she said. So
they work for you. That's your employee.
Allow your mindset to tell you where you want to go with that too. It's not about finding the perfect one. It's about finding the right one for you, the effective one. If you got a therapist that's giving you homework and you know you don't like homework, guess what? I don't like homework.
Right.
So we can just talk this thing through. You know what I mean?
I'll be in my therapist's office like, I forgot what you said I was supposed to do.
Listen, my new therapist that I have, she has been a godsend. Literally. She has taken my passion for words and associated with different events in my life and allowed me to be like, okay, so that person ain't in your life anymore. Give them a different name. Yeah. Give them a different name. You don't need to say their name. Give them a different name. Give them a nickname. You ain't got to cut it. You feel me?
I feel you.
So
look, I got some couple of no names that come to mind.
But you see, there's power in doing that. And there's power in removing yourself from that situation. And that's what healing is all about, baby. It's not about running from it. It's growing from it and moving from it. This has been Queen J with Latoya.
Yeah.
Latoya Nichole.
I think I love my kids.
Let's Get Uncomfortable. Thank you for seeing and hearing me. Peace. Bye.